Hi everyone, it's Carissa and I am here with a couple of card projects today. Today I'm going to be using this stamp set and it is from the Poet Society card kit. That is the September card kit from Studio Calico, and I'm going to be creating a couple of one-layer cards. So I'm starting out here with a Nina Solar White 110-pound card base. Because I'm not going to be layering anything on this, I wanted a nice heavy card base. And the key to using a cardstock this thick is getting a really good score. So I use a Martha Stewart scoreboard and a stylus, and I go over it a couple of times to make sure that my cardstock doesn't crack when I actually fold it. Now I'm just pulling off the stamps that I want to use. This is actually an engagement card, but you could make it a wedding card as well. And there's all these words that I'm going to kind of combine. And I'm going to put congratulations on your engagement, and it's going to say hooray. And it's going to have all these stamps together. So what I like to do when I'm doing something like this is arrange all of my cards kind of where I want them on my card base. And those little words are kind of hard to fiddle with, but stay patient. You will get it. And once I get them all arranged kind of where I want them, then I can pull in my iPhone and just take a picture of them just in case I don't remember. And also, I love my iPhone, so it's always sitting there, so might as well use it, right? I'm going to stamp the Hooray greeting in some gray ink. Now, this is an Avery L gray ink, and I'm going to stamp it right down onto the lower portion of this card. And because this is a nice, thick, solid stamp, I'm going to make sure that I press all over it with my thumb. And I'm using the Martha Stewart stamp press here, by the way. And then I'll just pull that up. Now this is a pigment ink, so I'm going to heat set it with my heat tool for just a few minutes. Because I'm going to be masking over this, I don't want to smudge that ink, so I'm going to make sure that I get that nice and dry. Now I'm going to create a mask because I want to layer these stamps up, but I don't want to stamp right over that greeting. I want the greeting to stay front and center. And I just need kind of the right side of that word, so I stamped it on some Eclipse Art masking tape, and I'm just cutting that out. And then I went back in with my craft knife and I just cut out like the center portion of that Y on the tail there because I wanted the ring to show through on that part. Once I got it all how I wanted it, then I could place it over my greeting that's on the front of the card. And you can notice just the right side of that word is cut out. I didn't even fuss with the other side. And I'm going to be doing some heat embossing. So I'm going to go ahead and prep the surface with an EK Success powder tool and just going right over that mask with it. And first I'm going to stamp the diamond part of this, or the rock that I just love. I want a diamond this big. But I used some gray ink and I just stamped it off once on a piece of scratch paper so that I could get a really light gray image. And then I'm going to go back in with the ring portion of this. Now I'm building all these images together. And I stamped that in some Versamark ink because that is the part that I'm actually going to be embossing. Once I got that all stamped on there, I could go ahead and pull off my mask. And you can see I'm being really careful to pull off the mask because I want to be able to save it. And so that ring portion is going to be embossed in some gold. So I'm just covering it with some gold embossing powder and then heat setting it with my heat tool. And now it's time to get these little itty bitty words all lined up. And you can use a ruler or a craft pick or something to get them all lined up. And I just use my grid mat there to kind of try to get them in a line. And then I'm going to come in with just some regular gray ink and stamp it on a piece of scratch cardstock to kind of check my work to see if I have everything lined up where I want it. Now, it wasn't quite perfect, so I went ahead and readjusted some things and then restamped it again. And once I got it where I wanted it, I'm going to go ahead and prep the surface again with my EK Success powder tool and ink up those words in some Versamark ink and stamp them right below the hooray. And then once again, just covering those with some gold embossing powder, and I heat set those. So I thought that rock really needed something special. So I brought in a two-way glue pen by Zig, and it's like a pen, like a ballpoint pen. And I just traced over that diamond with a little bit of that glue and then added some Prisma glitter. And there you have a really sparkly engagement card that's sure to stun the bride and groom. So when I was making the first card, I actually stamped the hooray twice, and it wasn't perfect, and I set it aside, and I looked at it again, and I thought, I can live with that. So I'm going to make another one-layer card, and this card I actually want to mask off the entire hooray greeting. So I'm re-stamping this in some Eclipse art masking tape and cutting out the entire word. Now, I didn't bother cutting out the centers of the O's or anything. I just cut around the edge of the word, and that was plenty of cutting for me. And then I placed that over the image that was on the card front. I'm going to mask off the top of the card with some Post-it tape just so I don't get any overlap onto the back of the card. And then I have several colors of Avery L pigment ink that I'm just stamping this ring image once again. So instead of stamping and cleaning and then stamping in another color, I went ahead and stamped a couple at one time when I had it inked up in that certain color. So I stamped a couple pink, then I moved on to the orange and then some green and yellow and that blue. Now I think the key to a card like this is making sure that you actually stamp a good deal over that mask there, because that's what really draws it out on this card. It shows that it kind of gives that illusion that those rings are actually going behind. So make sure that you actually stamp over the mask and you get a good concentration of that. Once I have all the rings kind of stamped, then I'm going to go ahead and carefully pull up that mask. And then I'm going to keep this mask in with my stamp set. So I'm just going to put it on the backer of my stamp set, and I'll keep it in with it so that the next time I want to create a card like that, it's already ready to go. Now I felt like this needed a little sparkle, so I'm bringing in the silver sequins from Studio Calico and also these really tiny little star gems that came in the Poet Society kit. And I arranged those on the card the way that I wanted them, and then I put a little matte medium, the multi-matte medium from Ranger, onto my craft mat, and I'm using my quick stick to pick those up from the place that I have them on the card, and then the back end of that, it kind of comes out and you can use those to kind of push those down. So I got those all onto the front of the card, and then just to finish the card off, I went ahead and rounded the bottom two corners with my 3/8 inch corner chomper from We Are Memory Keepers. And that finishes up my second one-layer card for today. So here's a look at these cards. Super fun to create one-layer cards, but you do have to pay attention to detail. As always, I have all the products used in these projects linked in the YouTube description, as well as over at my blog at sprinkledwithglitter.com. Thanks for stopping by today. I hope you have a fabulous day.